Hey guys, JobIsOmber here. The camera angle is a little bit higher up than usual. I don't know if I like it like this, but we shall see when I play back the review. Okay, so I have just seen a short film that's 3 minutes long, and it is considered the first horror movie ever made, and also the first vampire film ever made. It is a French film that goes by the name of Manoir Du Diable, aka The Haunted Castle in the United States, and also in Britain, aka The Devil's Castle. So, and there are many more titles after that, but I'm going to stick with the French one. So like I've said, the movie is 3 minutes long and is considered the first horror film ever made, and also technically the first vampire film ever made. It is a French production, directed by Georges Méliès, and also produced by him. It was released in France of winter 1896. Because the film is so short, it does not have any title cards. When I was watching it the first time, I've seen it twice now. When I watched it the first time, I was wondering why doesn't this film have any title cards? But now I can sort of see why it doesn't, and I'll get onto that later on in the review. Alright, let's get on with the synopsis. So the film just randomly starts with a bat flying in a castle, and I kid you not, it pretty much looks like the same bat that was used in the 1931 movie Dracula. Just like a rubber bat on a string, just like that. That's pretty much what it looks like. The film automatically just drops you in with this scene. There is no title cards, there's nothing, but I'll get onto that later on in the review. The bat then transforms into a being known as Mephistopheles, which is an incarnation of the devil. He wanders around the castle and then magically produces a cauldron out of thin air. He then also produces a hunchback who helps him with his deeds. Suddenly, a woman rises from the cauldron, then she and the hunchback exit the castle. Shortly after, Mephistopheles puts on his cape and disappears. Then, seconds later, two cavaliers appear and begin to have a supposed conversation. Now, the reason why I say supposed conversation is because A, of course, the film is silent, and B, again, there's no title cards, so all you're getting is this. That's all you're getting. Now, with other silent films that we've had, you would have had that expression, but then you would have had what the character was saying. Now, you have no idea what they're saying. But I kind of know why that is, and I'll get onto that later in the review. Suddenly, a puff of smoke appears, and the devil's assistant returns and begins to poke the cavaliers in the back with a pitchfork. This then sort of confuses the cavaliers, and they start to fool around with each other. One of them leaves the room whilst the other stays. He sees a stool and presumably goes to sit down. Then the tricks begin. The stool keeps changing direction around the room. The cavalier begins to get confused when the stool goes back to its original place. As the cavalier is relieved, he goes to sit down when suddenly a skeleton is sitting in his place, which alarms the cavalier. The skeleton looks plastic, like really plastic. I mean, it's just sitting there like this. So it's really like cheap looking, but you know, that's what you get for the first horror film ever made. He jumps back up and wanders around the room whilst looking at the sitting skeleton. He then draws his sword and hits the skeleton. It then suddenly transforms into a bat. The cavalier attempts to grab the bat, but it transforms back into Mephistopheles. The devil then produces 4 ghosts that start to approach the cavalier. He then faints, but seconds later he awakes. And then the old woman who approached from the cauldron at the first half of the film returns to the room. He gets down on his knee and kisses the hand of the woman, but then Mephistopheles turns her into a decrepit old crone. Suddenly, the 4 ghosts appear again. The previous cavalier then returns, but the ghosts circle him. He finds an exit and quickly flees by jumping off of the balcony. The ghosts then disappear, leaving the cavalier alone in the castle with Mephistopheles. As the devil closes in on the Cavalier pulls out a huge crucifix and walks towards Mephistopheles, causing him to vanish. And that is literally the end of the movie. For memorable scenes, I don't really have any. Even though I've watched it twice, I don't really have any scenes that stand out to me, but I will tell you my final thoughts. So this short film seems more like a stage production, which I presume it originally was. The film and the director is even mentioned, in fact, in this book, Horror Movies, An Illustrated Survey. It is mentioned in the very first half of this book, so it's an interesting read. I have many more horror movie books in my cabinet. I haven't even read half of them, but this was my very first one, and it's a brilliant, brilliant read. To me, it doesn't come across as a horror movie at all. However, it is considered to be one of the first, and I can sort of see why, because of the supernatural things that go on in this short film. The film contains a lot of jump cuts, like I've said, which I think adds to the oldness of the film. It isn't all that bad, so my rating for Le Manoir Du Diable gets a 3 out of 5. Like I've said, it's not the best horror film ever made, obviously, but for the first one, it's a damn good try. Okay, so thanks for watching my review of The Devil's Castle. And yeah, that's all I got to say really. Kind of a short review for a short film. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.